This week, you're going to work with one other person, either most of you virtually and not in class because I try to pair up folks at home with folks that are here. And what you're going to do is convince the town council of this fictional town of Nelwyn to convert their entire energy sources over to one type of energy. Your six different types of energy are going to be coal, natural gas, wind, solar, nuclear, and biomass.
Does it matter where we put this down?
All right, so the way the town, good question there. The way the town works is didn't include hydrothermal or hydroelectric because it definitely can change. You know, if your town is next to a waterfall, that makes that kind of an unfair one. You can say anything you want to about the town that is inclusive, okay? You cannot say we don't live next, or you cannot say that we don't live in an area where the wind blows, so you can't use wind. You can say our community has lots of wind. So you can be inclusive about how your town is, where your town is, the geography of your town. You cannot be exclusive about the geography of your town. You can say it's in the middle of the desert, as long as, well, the problem with saying this in the middle of the desert is that it's sort of exclusive because you're saying there's not much rain.
It's on a spring.
Rock and roll. Okay. So
So
yeah, so I mean that's what I'm saying is just be careful the way you're describing your town in that you're being inclusive and not exclusive. Okay. Actually I need to turn my camera on, don't I? Sorry guys.
Aren't you doing the
Right.
number generator?
Yeah, so the way I'll do it is I got the groups up here in front of me, 1 through 6, and I'll just hit a random number generator and let you pick first, but I want to make sure you got all the details before you pick. I'm gonna write this all up, but I wanted to share it in the video first to just kind of explain to folks. All of this stuff is going to be due on Friday, and then we'll use the mini week next week, Monday and Tuesday, to watch videos and kind of decide who our winners are and what the town is going to go with. Yes, sir.
was this Monday our last virtual Monday?
No.
We're going to
continue.
the next Monday is the only Monday we're going to have.
I thought we were doing Mondays after that.
Virtual Mondays.
But
Virtual Mondays, I've never worked with stuff with the makeup days.
Just like we have been doing.
So like there's no new work assigned, it's just like a makeup day mostly.
It's nothing changed from what it has been. So depending on what your teacher's been doing. So for today though, so most people I think have made contact in some way with most folks. If you haven't, then I got a representative from all of our groups in front of me today, so we should be able to make a good decision. But what you're going to do between now and Friday is produce 2 products. You're going to make, and so if you want to split this up between the 2 of you, that's fine, as long as you have a little bit of communication and you're on the same page. Your 2 products are going to be a short video that is, it can just be a conversation. It can be a Zoom meeting between that you do with your partner, and you can, prepare the presentation to the town council, the fictional town council of Nelwyn, and you are trying to sell your energy. You're convincing us to invest in your energy. Historically, the best presentations have included data. How are you doing this? How much time is it going to take for you to implement your strategy? How much money is it going to cost per person to do this? What about lifestyle changes? Am I going to be able to continue what I'm doing? Now, for the first year I've been doing this, since we have a little bit smaller group, I'm not including petroleum. I'm not including oil because that one definitely had an advantage and a disadvantage. The disadvantage is pretty obvious. We're going to run out of petroleum before any other non-renewable resource pretty much. And it's greenhouse gases like crazy, so you're affecting the environment. But the advantage was everybody could keep their cars the way they were. Since I'm deleting petroleum, you all have to come up with some solution for our transportation system in our community. If you want to have individual cars, how are we going to convert? Do we need to trade in and get a different car? Do we need to have a conversion? Whatever that case may be, how much is it going to cost per person? Are there tax credits available? Things like that.
Area-wise, it's a small town, like an Aiken-sized town.
I mean, the way I explained it was it's Greenville without the college students.
So then he's like right by center.
If you want to have public transportation and forego transportation, that can be part of your plan. Like, we're going to all give up our cars and use this form of public transportation instead. That can be part of your plan. Okay, but realize that also could be a drawback, because citizens might say, well, I like having my car, I don't want to go ride the bus. And don't worry so much about coming in and going out. Like, yeah, so you can't control the trucks bringing food to food line.
So we're just like people who are residents and live in the town, they're kind of
every bit of energy that is used by a static structure or people in our town is coming from a single source.
Okay, so
Okay.
are we gonna have like before? Never mind.
Okay, so just a real quick review of so the two things. One is the video. It can be a Zoom conversation. It could be a presentation. It could be a digital media interesting thing. I don't know. People get creative and make an interesting video with graphics or whatever. I don't know. You guys know more about that stuff than I do. But some type of video product to sell your energy, and then some type of digital product that is static, like a pamphlet that you make on the computer, or a handout, like an 8.5 by 11 handout that has your information. That's where maybe you can put your numbers to on not a video format, just on a page. So you have a video, and then you have some type of handout that has your information as well. It can have the same information. It can have different information. You probably don't want to have conflicting information. Like, you probably don't want to have your video say this is going to cost $100 per person over a month, and the handout say this is going to cost $10,000 per person over 10 years. So you probably want to get with your partner and talk about that a little bit more. But those are the two products I need. I'll have better details when I write this up here in just a second. Like I said, I need to have both those things by Friday, and then next week, Monday and Tuesday, we're going to review the things, and we'll talk about, what our community is going to go with. So you need to sell your energy, but when you do that, you also need to tell me why we're not doing the other 5. So, we could say, well, we're only going to have, only going to say positive things, but when you're selling something, if you're selling wind, you need to not only tell me why wind is great, but why I should choose wind over all the rest of them. So that's a different strategy. If you want to work together on your video and your handout, that's a different strategy to divvy up the work. You can have one person try to sell and the other person research the other energies and tell you why we shouldn't choose those. So that's another way that you could kind of look at it. The idea here is by the end of this whole thing, you guys really have a good solid grasp of how energy works in a community. Okay? Any other questions before we draft our sources?
You can't say like it doesn't have something.
You cannot be exclusive of your community. You can only be
You can't
inclusive.
say like.
You can't say there's no trees here, so we can't use biomass.
You can't say like our community is in Iceland, where it's.
I'd rather you not say it's in any real place.
Like, can I like say northern hemisphere, or like.
Yeah.
Super, like, northern. Because like that would help for like solar. Like, we weren't using solar as like a bad thing. Half the year, a giant very dark. The other half.
That's, see, you're being exclusive there.
That thing.
Yes.
Okay. Giant oasis in the desert.
All right. All right, guys. So I got 6 things. We've got my random number generator. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll just go down the line and pick each energy. If you have any questions about energies, I'm gonna leave the Zoom up for a little while and I answer any questions you have. But once we get these picked, we'll go ahead and start our research, start our discussions, and try to figure out what we're gonna do, figure out our plan. Like I said, Friday is when I need this stuff turned in. And remember, Monday is not a virtual day. So Monday we're back here, normal, rolling through our stuff. So it's not Monday's in person. Okay. So Friday, because it's Thanksgiving week, we only have 2 days. Okay. So it's not like when I say Friday, that means turn it in Monday like it usually does. That means I need it Friday so that Monday we have it and we're working with it. Okay. Tuesdays are normal day. Okay. All right. Hitting the button. First pick is Owen, Jocelyn, and Uriel.
We'll go with Victor.
I'm gonna just put the first person. I'm gonna put the person that's in class. Second pick is Matthew and Melaine. Third pick is Emma and Kylie. Fourth pick is Cody and Noah. I'm asking what they wanted anyway. They got their first pick. I hear you, Noah. All right, and then that leaves me with Lauren and John. I'll talk about why these aren't as hard as they seem.
Okay, well, natural gas. Natural gas. Cool.
And then Ava and Miss Zimba gonna be doing coal. Right? There are advantages and disadvantages of every single one of these. Okay. Now, obviously, you got hippie tire in here, and so a lot of the things you feel like, well, solar, wind, that's where this is green energy. That's what wins. I'll be honest with you, those don't always win this competition. Okay, maybe not as practical, but another thing that you got to realize is that things that have been around for a little longer, coal, natural, nuclear, and biomass is technically the oldest one of all. Biomass is what the energy that we've been using since people discovered fire, because that's what fire is biomass, it's wood that you're burning. So these older energies, people have been lobbying for hundreds of years, at least thousands of years for some of them. And so, we got a little bit of history between, companies that are really trying to sell wind and solar, but we got 100 years of companies selling these. So a lot of the work of selling those are kind of done for you. Okay. There's companies right now spending millions upon millions of dollars trying to make sure people stick with coal, trying to make sure we keep on fracking for natural gas. So a lot of that job is done for you. Whereas you have a lot of new companies with wind and solar. Nuclear's kind of got an ebb and flow, but research some of these companies that are selling it because they've done the work for you. They've done the work for you for what you need to stay. Any other questions about any of the energies? Biomass is anything where you're using organic material to create energy. So it could be through, most of the time what that means is you're taking either waste products or natural products like wood and burning it. Okay, for some type of fuel. Doesn't have to be, it could be a chemical situation as well, but mainly it's burning waste products. If you want to get really fancy, you can study some nuclear fusion. I know that's going to get into nuclear a little bit, but if you ever seen Back to the Future Part 2, where the professor shows up from the future and they said they don't need any gas because they got the Mr. Fusion reactor, and he throws a bunch of trash into it, and that's how they're getting energy. That's obviously not 100% real, but there is a little bit of science there to it. Running things off of trash. Any others? Any questions about your assignment? I'm gonna write it up here in a second. I haven't written it up yet, but Yes, ma'am,
How much cost are we gonna have to take to work on it?
this week.
Just all
That's
classes?
the only thing I have planned from now till Monday.
And what, so the whole point of we're trying to sell this?
You're convincing, the town council has approached this group of lobbyists and said, we're tired of getting our electricity from coal and getting our, this from this and having all our different sources. We just want to invest in one single source of energy and do it really well. Now, that is unrealistic. Okay, that is unrealistic and wrong, but it is a fake story that we're making up to make this activity work.
Okay, so the argument, like, talking in general, right, the argument about, like, oh, we should switch everything to wind or everything to solar or whatever, like, that would work then, right? Because if you're alive, you're kind of like everyone basket in that case, right?
It is
Isn't the push more for, like, less reliance?
100%, 100%, and I don't disagree with that.
No, I'm just talking about not this time, I'm talking for the sake of, like, everything.
Yeah, integrated energy is super, absolutely what's the best route. But it's not what I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you to sell yours because it makes it in isolation, makes it easier to understand and easier to study. In the past, I have made it possible that if you wanted to talk to another group and like say, hey, we're gonna say, I'm gonna take a step back and admit that ours is not ready yet. But so we're gonna say that you need to go with another group until ours is ready and then shift to us. The problem with that is who wins then? So,
So, are we?
let me get Lauren, I got you.
So does the town already have, well, I mean, obviously they do, but are we supposed to know, like, oh, they already use this type of energy and we're going to convince them otherwise?
No, it doesn't matter what type of energy the town uses.
It's just trying to get it all to match.
The town uses all of these types of energy and they're sick of having to worry about all the different ones. They want to do one thing.
No, one more question.
Sure.
Is there any way you could give us, like, categories we should cover? Like, I think you said transportation, like, so that we know that we're covering all the bases that we're supposed to cover and maybe like.
Yeah, sure. Matthew?
So I could,
I'm not asking.
I could put turbines like on the coastline and then use stuff like parking fees to pay for.
Rock and roll. Any others? Okay. All right. If there's nothing else, we got anything?
I'll do it, and I can do it right on the bell of the train.
All right, if you got nothing else, I'm gonna shut the Zoom down and then I'm gonna type this up and have it ready to go a little bit clearer on the internet. Kick some butt, guys.
And so